This is the Sunshine Cathedral perspective. If you think it's tough to be a gay Christian, try adding being Black. February is Black History Month, which also means it's Queer Black History Month. Life for Black LGBTQ plus individuals can be more challenging than what one imagines. As highlighted in a recent social science and medicine survey, 43% of those people of color identifying as gay, bisexual, or other sexual minorities reported facing discrimination from law enforcement. Devin English, lead author and assistant professor of public health at Rutgers University, highlighted the invisibility of Black sexual minority men in discussions about the impact of policing and incarceration in the United States. The study aimed to address this gap in research that often focuses on heteronormative experiences. It also revealed a negative association between encounters with law enforcement discrimination and the willingness to use pre-exposure prophylaxis, PrEP, a medication highly effective at reducing the risk of HIV contraction. This finding suggests a potential consciousness avoidance of institutions associated with the discrimination. It talked about the impact of law enforcement discrimination on psychological distress among Black LGBTQ plus participants. And some studies conducted by the National Center for Biotechnology Information show that Black men engaging in same-sex relationships harbor significant levels of mistrust towards medical institutions, often experiencing feelings of stigma due to their racial and sexual orientation. Perhaps even closer to home is how the Black church in America treats LGBTQ plus people. Survey shows that the greatest harm that is perceived by a queer person is rejection from evangelical faith. That same number often doubles when you ask a queer Black person or person of color who was raised and attended in a historical Black church. While February is a time to celebrate our rich Black history, part of that history is how badly members of the LGBTQ plus community have been treated. It seems proof positive that it would be necessary to create safe spaces that are free from discrimination for all individuals. And I think just to open that for me is like, as we celebrate this in Black History Month and we raise this awareness, come March 1st, I would be just as Black. And that these are issues that we are faced year round. And I think it's just a reminder and awareness in this particular about all the issues that the Black community, LGBT community, and beyond, that we face these issues around law enforcement, around medication, around treatment, certainly around stigma. And I remember when I lived in Washington, D.C., I remember one of the leading Black churches that was addressing HIV and AIDS, how, they would have these separate bike entrance to go into just so Black folks would get together to talk about being HIV positive. And I later reflect on it, meaning it's like, that was just such an extreme layer of prejudice and stigma in the church that no one should ever have to experience. And again, everyone's trying to understand what was going on, but the stigma that was associated with HIV and AIDS, the stigma that's been associated with being gay in the Black church or being out in the Black church, it carries a lot of weight. And just, being mindful of a recent incident of my own, leaving an event recently where I was mistaken in clergy collar for the valet. And so I'm like, these are just constant reminders that these microaggressions continue day in and day out, not just in the month of February.
Dressed up for an event, in collar.
Wow.
And someone said, will you get my car?
I'm literally, this is not a, this literally happened.
I hadn't heard that story. Wow, this is my face.
Days ago, I'm leaving an event.
It was a white man, probably my age or older.
I'm leaving an event. The valet had brought my car around. I am walking to the valet to get my car, and a guy gets out of here and says, "Oh, I've been waiting. Can you valet my car for me?" And then I guess, as I wrote on Facebook about this, I guess the look of my face did not express what I wanted to come out of my mouth. And then the person just responded, "Oh, I thought you were the valet." And I just kept walking. Now I have since been chastised for not taking the car keys and driving off.
The Reverend Dr. Michael Diaz, I'm saying his name. The Reverend Dr. Michael Diaz said, you missed the blessing. God was trying to give you a car. God was trying to give you a car. You missed the blessing.
But it's just those kind of reminders that, this isn't, we highlight it, but it's like, you've got to be kidding me.
Yeah.
But it's just one of those reminders, yet this continues. And that could have happened to any other person, any other minority or person of color. But it's that reminder that from church to community to wherever we may find ourselves, these things are real.
Oh, yeah.
And it's made more real by the fact that it's compounded by people not realizing how we are in community with each other and what it means to be in a community with each other, and to break these stereotypes down and to break these isms
recently
down.
From a presidential candidate, though, that this is not a racist country and never has been.
Oh, no, it wasn't founded on racism either. Racism.
Can you get my car?
Yeah. So yeah, that's all I got to say about this in Black History Month. Ask me on March 1st how I really feel.
Yeah.
Actually, I want you to tell a couple more stories. The time here on this property, 10, 12 years ago, I don't know, where someone asked you if you were what to me? Not my husband, not my colleague, but what did she assume that you were to me?
Oh yeah, we was finishing up wrapping up a session at the inside of the cathedral, and I just happened to be sitting off to the side of Darrell, and this person mistook me for Darrell's bodyguard. And looked at me.
I'm so important. I need one, I guess. But also,
like, we were floating all around the building, but I'm standing saying, "Oh, I thought you was Darrell's bodyguard." No.
Yeah.
I'm a lot of other body things to Darrell, but I'm not a bodyguard.
The bodyguard, not so much.
So,
and then very recently, talking about the religious context, you had a family situation.
Well, you just put them all out there.
I'm learning so much.
So yeah, just one of those, again, reminders with even in the family context of things when they do happen. One of my siblings was celebrating their anniversary, and they took to Facebook, and they listed all of the anniversaries of all my siblings, and actually the ceremonies that he performed for various siblings. But the list seems to stop short right after his wedding, which would have then been mine and Darrell's wedding. And there was no mention of that in the family legacy of weddings.
And all of these marriages were 20 to 40 years. And we're in that number too. We're 24 years. And but you wouldn't know it from that. We just completely left out.
So religious stigma, family stigma, embarrassment, whatever. Again, it don't just happen in Black History Month. Again, ask me on March 1st how I really feel, because this stuff goes on. And these are the things that I think most people will look the other way and say, well, no, God bless them, or we try to do, or people will do their best to like overlook and or forgive the situation, or they just don't understand, or I don't want to have to explain, or I don't want to go into the nuance of this. But you know what? It's real.
But that was out of public function. That was a church thing. That was a family thing, and that shows you the how interconnected and overlapping, and how intersectionality is a thing. I know people don't like that word anymore. I don't know why, because it calls them out, I think. But there's not just, this is a thing or that thing is over. No, it's a zillion things. Yeah. And they don't get better by just pretending they don't exist.
Yeah, as our good friend Reverend Dr. Dwayne Davis often says, thank God they met Save Robert in that moment, because that would probably be rather a unique moment to encounter some of these situations.
Dr. Davis was Pentecostal. He's a big old liberal now, but he grew up Pentecostal. And he'll say, so he'll talk about when he doesn't want to be his best self. He's like, well, that was unsaved, Dwayne. So, yeah, luckily, usually people get saved, Robert, because it wouldn't be right otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
So there you have it. That's what I got to
Next up, we are excited to tell you about our next adventure with our Global Fellowship. This year, we'll be going to where the hills are alive as we explore Austria and Alpine Europe for Gay Oktoberfest. Space is extremely limited, so make sure to go to happeningout.travel/sunshine to reserve your space now.
That's today with the Queer God Squad. We want to thank you for joining us.
We are here daily at 3 p.m. to have some fun and to discuss the issues important to our LGBTQ+ community.